Well, welcome everybody. We'll go ahead and get started tonight. Start with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Thanks for being here. We'll go ahead and ask for an approval of the agenda. Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Any upcoming commissioner absences? Should we recognize Alex's absence?
Well, I'll go ahead and move to excuse him tonight. I know he said he was going to try to join these, but if he can't make it, I'll make it an excuse absence.
Is there a second? Sure. Okay, roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Any communications?
No communications this week.
Thank you. The motion to approve the minutes of the January 24th commissioner meeting. So moved. Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey, Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Doctor.
I'll move that we approve the accounts payable vouchers 198,739 through 198,850, payroll vouchers 198,851 through 198,866, and ACH payroll transfer, all as outlined in the agenda, for a grand total of $2,987,763.21.
Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. The report from the local.
There's not.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Chief's report.
All right, first Chief Meyer is going to start.
All right, a couple things to update you on. Since the last meeting we had a couple house fires in the southern part of our district. On the 24th of January, we had a fire on Ford Drive. The crews did an excellent job of keeping that to a first alarm assignment, and they did a great job of making sure that we had a primary search, a secondary search of the houses done, keeping the damage to a minimal. They did find a cat named Earl. So that was all good. They administered aid to the cat. And so he didn't want to be, he didn't like the crews at all. So we keep on having a good track record. We were taking care of some cats. But Tom Voigt and his crews did an exceptional job. There was a hydrant right across the street from the house that would proved to be very beneficial for our offensive attack. So well done to the crews. They're trying to keep the fire small and getting searches done on that house. That house fire came in like 1:30 in the morning. So those are always sometimes aren't very good when it's in the middle of the night. The second fire that we had was a few days later was a Fox Island fire. That came in with a residential fire with a possible entrapment. Nick Langlow was the BC on duty that night. It was an attached garage fire and 2 vehicles involved. The crews did an excellent job of keeping the fire contained to the garage. And they went in and did primary search, secondary search of the house. One of the things that was interesting between these two, the nearest hydrant was at the Fox Island store. So we laid a water supply line 1,200 feet down Fox Drive back to the store. And so that just took extra manpower, but the crews did a good job of knocking down the car fires and keeping the garage fire contained to the garage. And actually the rest of the house was actually livable by the time we left. So I know Commissioner Nelson was there, and we did some fire watch throughout the night. We did actually transport one of the occupants for smoke inhalation, but we mainly for precaution. So just a couple other things. We participated in the Night to Shine last Friday night, and so we had a standby crew at the YMCA providing standby EMS. I don't think we generated any calls from that. So that was actually pretty good. We always like to support that event. Also, too, some training things that are going on. This week, we're hosting the PC HIT training. So our hazardous materials countywide team is doing training here for the 3 days this week. So we're instructing it, we're hosting it. So we're having people from Central Pierce, West Pierce, East Pierce come down and conduct training. So we're always very fortunate with that. And then the last 2 weeks, last week and this week, we've been doing the wildland pack test at New Harbor High School at the track, where we have to annually do 3 miles with 45-pound packs under 45 minutes. So we're sending up, I think, about 70 of our folks through that. So that's what we have to do annually to have that certification. So unless there's any questions, end of report.
I'd just like to personally thank you for the 2 that were at the Night to Shine. I watched them interact with the crowd, and they were amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, firefighter Bailey and firefighter Staten were the 2.
They did a great job.
Great. Chief Black. Good evening. Just a couple things. Just to let you guys know, we're going to be moving out of Station 58 on the 22nd of February. This is to do a bit of an upgrade to their station. Even though the bond's passed, there's still some things we want to do to make that station more livable until we get a chance to get it fully renovated with the bond. So we're going to be moving the engine out to Station 57, which I'm excited about, to exercise that station and I'll live in it for a little bit and make sure everything is working well. And we're going to send the medic kit up to Station 56 and so they'll run out of there. So we'll look a little bit different for about 30 days that we do that. Also, just things are going well at 53. We're staffing it more and more, especially now that it's 2 people staffed with the bus truck and then 3 people with the engine. So it's getting exercised well. And we've been able to make a difference with some of that and supporting with that station as well. I'm excited with WSRB. It's a lot of work, but I'm encouraged that I think we might see some positive things come back from that regarding our insurance rating and what that might look like. So we're spending a lot of time with that and the data to go along with that. And then lastly, I just wanted to give you an update on Lee Puckett, our mechanic. I reported about the time that he was on out, had a heart attack. Had surgery and is recovering well. I got to see him last week and his wife. So it'll be a bit of a slow journey, but he's doing a really good job. End of report.
Hey, Boo. Right, just a few things to update you on. I had applied for inclusion in a survey to help us evaluate our safety culture. It's through Drexel University in Philadelphia. It's called the Fire Service Organization Culture of Safety. We were approved, yay! And so sometime before the end of the second quarter, they'll be rolling out a survey to all of our members across the organization through Better Solutions, our online training platform, to help evaluate our safety culture and identify areas where we can make improvements. Additionally, you might have heard of First Due. Many of you may have it on your phones. Division Chief Westcott has been working diligently on getting improvements, enhancements to that platform to improve our situational awareness. There was a recent update where we can now track units quite simply, actually, by just tracking their cell signals. And so that improves our situational awareness. And they're working on trying to identify ways to code their status by color. It's something that they've mentioned to the developer, and they're hoping that they can encourage them to make that change. The last update for me, many of you may recognize the name Sonny Putnam, lead mechanic from many, many years ago. I think he left our organization about 14 years ago. If you remember, he suffered an off-duty cardiac arrest. We responded, successfully resuscitated him. I was one of the folks that was part of that call. And just recently, he found himself back in the hospital. For the first time in 14 years, his internal defibrillator decided it needed to work, and it did so 21 times before they could control the arrhythmia. Sounds like it worked exactly the way it was supposed to. He's doing much, much better. I visited him in the hospital, so did Chief Meyer and probably several other of our members. He's in very good spirits, and they're dying for visitors. So if anyone has an interest in stopping by, he's now home, stopping by his home and visiting with himself and his wife, Carol. He'd love to see some familiar faces and even some new ones. I can get you that address if anyone's interested. He's doing well and waiting for an opportunity to go up to Seattle and conduct some further testing. So that's it for me.
Great. Some updates from me. I met with our new county council member, Robin Denson, about 2 weeks ago. Just went over our priorities. She is on the South Sound 911 board, which is helpful for us. Commissioner Wilsey and I attend those meetings every time, and she's getting up to speed on our needs at South Sound 911 and be a great advocate for us there. And then also with Department of Emergency Management, some of the things that are happening at EMS. So we had a really good meeting. This Friday, I'm heading over to Olympia. I have scheduled meetings with all of our legislators. It's the Fire Chiefs and Fire Commissioners Legislative Day, so I'll be going over there Friday and meeting with all of our legislators on about our issues. Next meeting, I'm excited to, although 2 years late, finally present our volunteer. We had been asked when I got here to evaluate our volunteer program. And we've been working on that. Chief Booth, since he was appointed, has taken the reins, but the entire team has been working on that with him. And he'll be presenting it in 2 weeks, the evaluation of that program and everything in between. So I could finally deliver that in 2 weeks. I wanted to let you know, I can't remember if I have updated you on Liza's death benefits, but they were denied. I have been lobbying diligently along with the union, our legislators. The family has retained an attorney. I just read their letter to the appeal today. I'm hopeful that LNI changes their mind, but I've been working on that quite a bit. So has Jake. And I will bring that up with all of our legislators again this Friday. But at this moment, it's been denied. I've been updating you on the CAD to CAD with Kitsap and our South Sound 911. That has all been approved, all been funded. They're starting Kitsap first, they're Hexagon to reconfigure them, and then they'll move to South Sound 911. I met with Tim Hanna from South Sound 911 the other day, whenever it was. And we do have the scope of work. They're starting there, and Chief of South Kitsap and I are continually trying to move that along. And I'm excited that hopefully this year we can have that done. Pierce County Fire Chiefs, I forwarded you our meeting minutes, and we are focusing on EMS at our next meeting. We brought in all the EMS chiefs, and as Pierce County Fire Chiefs, we have kind of a logjam in the process of EMS. So we're getting on the same page with our EMS chiefs to try to improve the process of really everything in Pierce County EMS. And I'm excited that as fire chiefs, we finally have some priorities, and that's our first one. Our second one will be with South Sound 911, how we dispatch and call processing time working with it. So that's our plan as Pierce County Fire Chiefs. Last, I have a few recognition pens to give away. First, Tanya has been with us for 5 years, and I wanted to recognize her. Second, Commissioner Sudich has been with us for 15 years. And last but definitely not least, although new to his position, not new to our department, Chief Booth, 25 years. And that concludes my report. I will have some more on the fire levy later when we get there, unless anybody has questions. The only other thing I forgot to add is I had sent Commissioner you my self-evaluation. I have it scheduled at next meeting to do executive session to get my feedback. Ready. Yeah.
Any standing committee reports?
Just as a reminder to please come prepared for the next meeting for the executive session. Have our input ready for chief. 2022 bond update.
All right, I think that's me. So lots of things have been happening with the capital projects from the bond. We'll start at the training campus. So we have finalized and working through finalizing finishes for the inside of the training sport building. Working on contract for the burn props that'll be within the training tower. Also working on a utility water agreement with the city of Deep Harbor to provide some domestic water for that specific parcel. The last one for the training campus, we had a customer information meeting earlier, and from Pierce County, one of the things that they asked us to complete or start was a traffic impact analysis. So it wasn't required when we originally went through the process back in 2012. They've asked us to do that now. So that's an amendment to our contract with Bryce Fergus. If we were to do the entire traffic analysis, not only just us reporting, but then it gets to, if we go over a certain number of cars, then there's counting, there's traffic revision designs, all those things. So if we had to go through the whole report or the analysis, it would be $26,700.80. So it's an amendment to our contract. We're not having to do some of the other things that were originally included in the contract. My intent is to have Chief Doan sign that. It's in our spending agreement. Chief Doan can sign for anything under $50,000, and it's already included in my budget for the training campus. So that's the last thing for the training campus.
While you're there, just quickly, Commissioners, Chief Johnson asked if we needed to have that brought here and you approved it. I didn't think so because it's within budget underneath the amount, but I also wanted him to make sure and let you know and see if that's okay and affirm the direction that we're going.
Okay, sorry about that. Stations 53 and 57. Last week I sent the Fleet and Facilities Committee, which is Commissioner Ravina and Commissioner Sudich, their latest schematic drawings of those two buildings. So those are moving along actually pretty quickly. It's a small 806 square foot addition. So those are moving along well. For all three of these projects, I continue to work on water availability from the various water districts. It's more of a challenge than I thought it would be in the beginning, but we're almost there. So, and lastly, the Station 51 design kind of kickoff meeting has started. We're just waiting for a contract from Rice Fergus Miller. That process will probably be at least a year in the design process. Lots of things are going to be included, and it will be a completely different process than the county because Station 51 falls within the city limits of Gig Harbor. So if there's no questions, that will be the end of my update. Yes, sir.
Yes. I know you sent schematics to Commissioner and myself. Maybe in the future, just a thought, to keep the whole board where the other three members, at least, I realize they're not part of the committee, but at least they'll know what's going on with training or 51, 8, 9, 53, 57. Does that make sense?
Yep, I can certainly do that. It's just a couple more names on the email to be sent out.
That's
So
just a suggestion. That's not a statement.
okay, thank you.
That is it on the bond.
And the changes just at the 53, 57 is just adding that fifth bedroom. Right. The fifth bedroom and then the what we had before, the bunker gear storage, decon facility, all that. And like I said, even with all those changes, it's 806 square feet addition. So, and I will send it to you tomorrow, so you can take a look. Thank you. Bet. Financial reports.
Okay, so this is the December financial report. It is the last one you will see in this version with the budget restructure for 2023. It'll look a little bit different. High level here, we did over collect on revenue by about $1 million. Some of it was anticipated, some of it was not. Most of it is GEMT transport revenue, some wildland and wildfire reimbursements, and some COVID reimbursements. On the expense side, we underspent by $1,077,000. Most of that was anticipated. It is our vehicles that we did order but have not arrived in 2022. We will talk about that a little later in another resolution. And then I'm going to scroll down a little bit here so you can see. Ooh, sorry. Okay. The only other highlights to December that's a little different, you'll notice under fund balances, there are a couple new funds for December. We did have a bond close in December, so we have the expense fund, the reserve fund balances, the go bond fund balances. That balance will actually be zero in January once we pay our bond closing costs. And then you'll notice the capital fund with that $50 million there. So it is sitting in the capital fund ready for expenditure. And that is it for our December report. We'll go into a little more deep dive probably in March, early April.
Any questions? Thank you. Don't see any old business. New business. General fire levy.
All right. So my plan is at the next, want to make sure my dates are right. Yeah, to bring you a recommendation with a lined out plan next meeting. We had our first meeting with Strategies 360 yesterday. We've really pared down the team. There was quite a few people meeting every 2 weeks in our bond and our levy. We've really pared it down to about 5 of us, me and Tanya and Chief Booth and Tom Westcott and Crystal and Tina. Tina does a lot of the social media. We really pared it down, and then we can bring others if we need it. My question to you is, would commissioners, would you like to be on that meeting every 2 weeks, or would as we work through the plan of the levy? Okay, if anybody has what we did on with the Egan House, as you well know, is the chair and vice chair, myself and Alex, when we could make a group call. It's your call what you do with this one.
I wouldn't mind, yeah, I wouldn't mind an invite.
Okay.
I promise you I'll be able to make that.
All right, we'll do that. Alex, would you like to be invited to that one? Okay, we'll do that. We'll add you two to our invite.
When is that meeting typically?
It's every
Other Monday. And it started yesterday, so I don't know where that falls in the calendar, if it's the 2nd.
4 p.m.
I think it was at 4.
4 p.m.
Yeah.
We'll send you the invites, both of you, and if you can be there, that'd be great. We just talked strategy and what we're doing and messaging, and of course, always bring it back here after we make some decisions.
What time on Monday is that usually?
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
All right.
And let me look. Yesterday was the 13th, so our next one is the 27th. at 4 o'clock. I won't be able to make it. I forgot to update you, I am on NMET steering committee for community aquatics and for their senior center. I forgot to update you that I'm doing that. I just saw it on my calendar. Yeah, I was appointed by the PennMet board to be on those committees. So back to general fire levy, we had our first meeting Strategies 360. I'm excited. They did a lot of intel and questioning as they put together the plan and messaging. We followed up today with an email from Tom, who had Commissioner Chief Westcott, who had lots of good ideas. And so I'm excited for Strategies 360. I think they're going to do an excellent job, but it was more of an introduction meeting and starting to put together a timeline for our process for the levy. And I will bring you my recommendation next meeting with an outline for the process too. But I wanted to put this on the agenda, just to get any feedback on where we're at.
As I recall, you've had experience with this company, correct?
Correct. A little full disclosure to everyone, Strategies 360, they have an office in Seattle and are based out of Seattle. They also have a Boise office, and that's the experience that I had in previous politics. They actually, when I ran for commissioner for, what was I? I was a school board member. They ran my campaign, so I do know them personally. But their Seattle office is who came in and did the presentation. So I do have a personal connection and I used them and I ran for office too. That's all I have for the fire levy.
Any questions?
For me,
Okay. First of all, resolutions.
I know how to hit the button, I promise. Yeah. Okay, so we do have 5 resolutions today for action and approval. The first one is our first resolution of the year, 2023-01. It is a new credit card policy, completely rewritten. The highlights to this is we have revised it to be, ooh, I shouldn't use the keypad. This policy has been rewritten at a high level, and then we've removed all the procedural and operational processes out of the policy and moved into a procedural document. So you'll notice that the policy is actually quite a bit smaller than it was before. In terms of policy changes, we did highlight access and distribution and revise existing credit limits. So we did review existing spend by organization, need, and by position and their purchasing requirements, and align the new credit limits in alignment with their purchasing responsibilities. So that has changed as well. And then the other key area, it has added additional employees to the distribution list to align with facilitating that purchasing. This policy would supersede all prior editions of the prior credit card policy from 2017 and beyond. Does anyone have any questions about the policy? Okay.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution? I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2023-01.
Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy,
yes,
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. 2023-8.
Okay. Okay, the second resolution, 2023-02, is a budget amendment for 2023. We did have a series of items that were approved and adopted in the 2022 budget that were already in progress or on order that will be received or completed in 2023. So this budget amendment includes an attachment A. I am on the wrong screen here. So we have a series of carry order items included in attachment A. Those are the items completed and received this year of $871,000. And then we also have a budget amendment for some personnel expenditures. We had encountered some challenges with our payroll system and the addition of having two different funds with the county. So when you will notice there's a budget amendment here for our capital personnel costs. It is a net zero change in the fact that it'll be reimbursed from the capital fund. So the total budget amendment is $1,175,243. There's two components there included in attachment A. I'm just going to switch to this amendment really quick for the attachment. So you'll notice that, oh, it's small. The attachment here, so $871,000 of carry forward. This would be increasing the budget for 2023. These items were funded with prior cash balance in 2022. So that's still the expected funding mechanism for 2023. And then the $303,000 of personnel costs, this will be a reimbursed from the capital fund through a transfer at the end of the year.
Any questions? We have a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll move that we approve resolution 2023-02.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Resolution 2023-03. Crystal.
Okay, this is 2023-03. This is a resolution to transfer the unspent monies that were budgeted for the capital assets, the apparatus that were budgeted in 2022. This is not included in the prior carry forward amendment because they will not arrive in 2023. So they will be anticipated in 2024. We'll include them in the 2024 budget. In the meantime, this action is to transfer the cash into the reserve fund until such a time that they would be budgeted and needed for the future year. So this action is transferring $830,000 from the general expense to the reserve fund.
Any questions? There a motion?
I'll move that we approve resolution 2023-03.
Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. All right, resolution 04.
Okay, 2023-04. This action is to meet our reserve requirement under our financial management policy. That is to have 2 months of operating reserves in the reserve fund or 16.67%. With the increase in the 2023 budget, we would need to increase the reserve contributions to meet that 16.67 requirement. This is a transfer of $380,000 from the general expense to the reserve fund to meet our financial management policy.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve resolution 2023-04.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Okay, resolution 05. Crystal.
Okay, this is the last of the financial resolutions for tonight, 2023-05. This one is not a dollar transfer, more of a capital reset. The purposes of this resolution is our reserve fund traditionally has had a series of transfers over probably the last 10 years for specific capital needs, as well as meeting our cash flow requirements with our reserve policy, the 16.67%. In reviewing some of those resolutions on the historical side, this policy is intended to be any dollar amount that is over our minimum requirements of 2 months of operating costs to be set aside for the purposes of future capital. The main reason for the capital reset and the purpose of this is regardless of the prior resolutions, if there was one specified for a specific reason and that need is no longer needed or has been another funding source has been found for that item, those reserves can be used for another capital purpose. So the example that I have is actually a resolution we have from 2017 allocating dollars for the future training campus. So there was dollars that was transferred into the reserve fund for that purpose. Those are now committed through our bond and capital projects, but those dollars are still sitting in reserves and can be used for future capital needs. So the purpose of this resolution is just to identify that any excess over the 2 months of operating would be used for future capital needs in the reserve fund.
Any questions? Is there a motion for resolution 05?
We approve resolution 2023-05.
Roll call vote?
Commissioner Incy,
yes,
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiltie,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. I have item G to be business personal service contract. Program manager.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners, Chairman Urbina. Before you in your packet is the personal services contract for Janelle Hunter, our new HR manager. It is standard language, very common to the other personal service contracts and agreements that we have with other employees. I will note that it is only through the term of December 31st, 2024. That's in alignment because we're trying to align all of the contracts to expire at the same time. So that is why there's a little bit of time frame there on the term of the agreement. But the content is consistent with other personal service contracts that we have. And so my recommendation would be approval by the Board of Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Commissioner Incy,
yes,
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiltie,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Joe, can we look back at something? I moved to excuse Alice, but he made it here after 5 p.m. So I just want to put that in the minutes. He's here.
He is, and I noted his arrival at 5:07 p.m.
All right, open public comments. If there's any, raise your hand, let us know you're there, that you want to talk. You'll have 3 minutes. Just state your name for the record, of course. Okay. Not seeing any hands raised. Any good of the order? Okay. Any special interest upcoming events? All right, well, I'll make note that our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, February 28th at 5 o'clock. And I'll move to adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for being here. Have a good night.
thanks, you guys, take care.